Hey, Webworking World Entertainment, and of course, Man of Tomorrow is going to be the follow-up to Superman. It's technically Superman 2, but they just don't want to say that. But of course, the question is, who is going to be the big bad in that movie? But also, is that movie setting up the overall big bad for the DCU? That does seem to be the case. Now, all the indications were that it's going to be Brainiac. Number one, we know that they filmed a Brainiac scene for the post-credit scene in Superman, which was cut. The speculation now is that it'll be used in Supergirl. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. But the film, or the scene, was shot with Brainiac. Of course, James Gunn's image of his script, or at least the treatment of the script, shows what is indicating to be Brainiac. But there's suggestions now that it might be one of two, Brainiac or Mongol. So we'll have a look at this because it's the casting call that has now gone out that has people speculating that it's one of the two. So, oh, by the way, we now know that he won't be using Darkseid. And he won't be using Darkseid because he's blaming Zack Snyder for already using Darkseid. Which is just like, you could do it. And, like, you would be going up against Zack Snyder's version, which, regardless of what you felt about Justice League and all that stuff, you can't argue Darkseid was fantastic. His interpretation in those movies, fantastic. So, let's dive into this anyway. So, it's saying DC Studios appears to be setting the stage for another massive showdown in its expanding cinematic universe. According to a new report from Nexus Point News, casting is currently underway for the lead villain in Man of Tomorrow, James Gunn's follow-up to Superman, and early descriptions have fans convinced the next major DCU threat will be either Brainiac or Mongol. So sources tell Nexus Point News that the production is looking for actors with a strong build and stature, and that makeup and prosthetics will be used for the film's antagonist. Those two clues also have sent speculation into overdrive. So you could also then speculate that that could be Darkseid as well. Which is interesting, they're saying big stature. So they want somebody that's well built, which is interesting. So at least we know they're not going for some skinny runt. But then again, you're going to be looking on, what kind of actor nowadays has that type of stature? There's only a few, realistically, that you can think of. So, both Brainiac and Mongol are physically imposing extraterrestrial foes from the pages of Superman, and both require heavy visual effects and practical enhancements to bring to life. So, Brainiac first introduced in Action Comics number 242 in 1958 by Otto Binder and Al Plastino, is a super intelligent alien android from the planet Kull. His 12th level intelligence makes him one of Superman's most dangerous adversaries, a collector of civilizations who famously shrinks and bottles entire cities to add to his cosmic menagerie. His neon green skin and cybernetic features would align perfectly with the prosthetic heavy direction mentioned in the casting notes. Mongol, on the other hand, made his debut in DC Comics Presents number 27 in 1980, created by Len Wein and James Starlin. A brutal alien warlord, Mongol rules over Warworld, a massive planet converted into a gladiatorial arena. So, known for his immense size and yellow-toned skin, he has often been portrayed as an unstoppable force of pure power rather than intellect. If the new film leans towards physicality and scale, Mongol could be the natural choice. So, James Gunn is set to write, direct and produce the project, with DC Studios co-CEO Peter Safran serving as co-producer. The film, tentatively titled Man of Tomorrow, will reunite David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult as Superman and Lex Luthor. While Luthor remains one of Superman's classic antagonists, early buzz suggests the two may form an uneasy alliance when faced with the larger cosmic threat, potentially one of the two powerhouse villains under discussion. This is also the whole thing of it's Superman 2. They just are refusing to call it Superman 2. The other thing is James Gunn has said that this will be much more of a Lex Luthor focused film. That's what he says now, but who knows. But it sounds like we could be seeing more from his point of view. Now, I suppose one of the questions that could have already been set up in Superman is either one of these threats, whether it's Brainiac, whether it's Mongol, whether it's something else completely. I think the question is, does Lex Luthor inadvertently bring them in? You know, is it the case of with him having all these portals, does he accidentally open one up and let one of these things through? That could be the question. Like, that could be where they're going with this, rather than the threat just showing up. Don't know. Who knows at this stage? You know, we're really being told nothing. I do hate when they start getting really secretive about this stuff. Like, you're going to end up having to say at some stage who the villain is. So I don't know why they don't just put it out now as, oh yes, it's definitely Brainiac. Because, like, he teases Brainiac. He puts it on the cover, like that image of the brain scan and stuff on the script. And immediately people are like, hey, you're going with Brainiac. And he's being coy about it. He's like, oh, people might have it right. They mightn't, blah, blah, blah. It's like, just tell us. I don't know why you don't just tell us, you know, because it could blow up in your face if you don't. Like, look at what happened with Star Trek Into Darkness. J.J. Abrams went so far beyond to try and convince everyone, including investors, oh, it's not Khan. It's this guy called John Harrison. It's not Khan. Absolutely not. And then what's it turn out? Oh, yeah, it's Khan. And everybody knew it from the second he gave a description of what the character was. He was still saying, it's this guy called John Harrison, whose blood is special, and everybody immediately went, so it's Khan. It's Khan Union Singh. Like, why won't you just say that? And even he has turned around now and said, yeah, that was a massive mistake not to just tell people. So, if it is Brainiac, just say it's Brainiac. If it's Mongol, just say it's Mongol. We don't know. It could not. It could end up being something completely different, but all the indications from the script and what Gunn is hinting does seem to lean more towards Brainiac. And again, if that scene does show up in Supergirl as a post-credit scene with the one that they did film with Superman, the question is then, will it show up in Supergirl? And if it does that lead directly then into Man of Tomorrow? I was going to say Man of Steel. I think the other question though could be, could that post-credit scene be setting up Brainiac but not as the big bad? So Mongol could still come in and be the big bad. We'll have to wait and actually see what happens. And of course, we don't even know whether this Brainiac scene will show up in Supergirl. And of course, if it does, who exactly played him? That's the one thing we don't know, is who played him. If anybody, it could be in total CGI. We will find out, of course, come next year. Isn't it May that Supergirl comes out, I think? So, at the moment, they're putting out a casting call for the main villain for Man of Tomorrow. That we do know. We have the description of what they need. A tall, well-built actor who's willing, of course, as well, to go under heavy prosthetics and stuff. So obviously not Pedro Pascal, thank Christ. But it does lean into one of those two. So we'll wait and see. But what do you guys think? And who would you like to see? Would you rather see Brainiac? Would you rather see Mongol? Or would you rather see somebody we've never seen? Well, obviously we've never seen Mongol in any form. But at least as far as I'm aware, we've never seen him in any form. But let us know who you choose. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, hit that hype button that lets YouTube know that the videos were checking out. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.